Hey everyone, welcome in. The Artificial Trainer here, back with a new video model for you all. So, SkyReels is the new model. It's essentially a fine tune of Hunyuan video. They used a large data set of film and television content to fine tune Hunyuan to provide even better results. And probably the most exciting thing is that they have an image to video model, which is we had that LoRa, that Leap Fusion created, but this is probably a step better than that. And I've actually gotten some really great image to video generations that are even on par with a paid service like Kling. So let's hop right into the install. If you are on RunPod, you can follow along. If you're not on RunPod, I will leave a few resources in the description for how you can install this on Windows, or if you're on Linux, obviously RunPod is just a cloud Linux server, so you can follow along if you're on Linux. Okay, so if you're on Windows, you can just jump right to the workflow section. If you're on RunPod or on Linux, then feel free to follow along on the install. All right, so I have a clean RunPod spun up here. If we take a look at our settings, I'm using 200 gigabytes of volume disks. Probably not necessary, but that's what I'm using. 20 gigabytes of container disk, and then making sure that I leave 8888 and a few other ports exposed as well. Okay, so if you head over to my Patreon, there's a post up with the installer and the 3 workflows for SkyReels. So download the installer, which is the .sh file, head back to Jupyter Lab and drag that file into your workspace. All right, so this just has all of the file installs for SkyReels. It also has Hunyuan installs in here as well. So if you want to decrease the size of your install, you can remove some of the Hunyuan video stuff and just leave the SkyReels stuff. But you do need the Hunyuan video VAE and text encoders. All right, so to run this, all we need to do is bash SkyReels installer.sh. And if you're on Windows and you're looking for more help on Hunyuan video installs, which is what SkyReel uses to run, you can just copy paste this into ChatGPT and it should be able to convert these instructions into Windows instructions instead of Linux instructions. Okay, so that install took about 15 to 20 minutes, and we are ready to try out the workflows. So head back to My Pods, connect to port 3000. If you need to change that port for whatever reason, at the end of the script here, you just need to change this to whatever port you want to switch to. All right, so let's start off with the image to video. I've had better luck with the image to video. The text to video, I don't know. I think that Hunyuan is probably better, but they have some pretty good examples on here as well. So let's try image to video first, and then we'll try text to video after. All right, so download the JSON, and we drag the JSON in. So the way this workflow works, the only thing you may have to change is this block swap node. If you're only running on like 12 gigabytes, you can bump, or even 8 gigabytes, you can bump the block swap node, double blocks and single blocks, to 20 and 40. And you can just decrease those until it'll fit in your card. I'm using 4090, which has 24 gigabytes of VRAM, and it fits pretty easily if I only block swap 10 double blocks. All right, so let's grab an image here. All right, so we have this image of this woman, and I want her to be walking down a city street. Okay, so all you have to do is upload the image, put in a prompt. You can resize the image if you want. The SkyReels on their site says that 960 by 544 is the best resolution at a 97 video length. I'm going to turn the video length down a little bit just so that it doesn't take as long to generate, but yeah, we should be good to go. I'm just going to add Tcache in just to speed up the generation a little bit, and let's try it. All right, so here's first generation. Maintains pretty good likeness. I mean, for open source image to video, this is about as good as it gets right now. Let's try another image, and we'll see how it goes. All right, we're gonna use this video of this guy dressed in a nice suit here. All right, and then I just need to switch my height and width here. And so a tip for these generations, one of the things that impacts the amount of movement heavily is this flow shift. So if you find that you're not getting a lot of movement in your videos for whatever reason, turn the flow shift up. You should see a little bit more of the movement you're expecting. And the other thing is, if you don't care about maintaining the exact likeness of the first frame, you can turn the latent strength down a little bit and you might get a little bit more cohesive movement. All right, so this is actually an issue that I have seen other people in the community have, where instead of movement, you get like this jumping between clips. This is a common issue. You should just, if you try new seed, you should be able to fix this, or modify your prompt a little bit. The model might not quite understand what you're asking it to do in the prompt. All right, let's try a nature video. So I have this picture of a tiger. I just need to switch the image to landscape. And then I'm gonna say a tiger running through the jungle quickly. So we started off with a pretty good generation, and then it cut to this brown scene here for whatever reason. But this is kind of something I've seen throughout the community. The results of this look a bit cherry picked, but what they have in their demo on the GitHub. The one thing is the code is still very new for these custom nodes, and it's still being implemented into native as well. So as more people get their eyes on the code, we might be missing something on exactly how they implemented this, and there may be some improvements that'll be coming later on. Okay, so that's image to video for you. Definitely play around with it. Let me know if I missed something here and if there's a way I can get even better generations. But we'll move on to the text to video model next and see what kind of results we can get. All right, so download the text to video JSON, and let's go with a bird. Let's say a hawk swooping, let's say flying down and landing on a branch. All right, so we got a noisy mess. I have had some problems with this text to video model, and I'm still trying to work out exactly how to prompt it. I've gotten some good results and some poor results, so let's try it again. I turned the guidance scale down a little bit because I'd seen that may be an issue, so let's try it with the lower guidance scale. There we go. That's a much better generation. So what I changed here is adding in this Hunyuan CFG. When I was on the Skywork page, GitHub page, I noticed that they had the guidance scale set to 6 and the embedded guidance scale set to 1. So I came back to the workflow and I noticed before we had our guidance scale, I think on 12, and we were getting too much noise. So I figured that needs to be dropped down to 1. And then our CFG here can match up with what SkyReels recommended, which was 6. So I think that should give us some better quality outputs. Let's try another one. And I'm going to lower the compression a little bit. If you want better quality without having to do much, in your video combine node, just drop down the compression here to, something under 10 usually. I mean, the lower you go, the less compression you're going to get. So 0 would be the absolute highest quality, but it also takes up the most space on your PC. All right, so let's try another one. Let's say a man and woman walking down the beach holding hands. There we go. A solid generation. We're still getting a bit of noise coming in here. I'm sure that if we played with the settings, the guidance scale a little bit more, we can probably get rid of that noise. So now that we've made kind of this realization about guidance scale, I want to go back to our image to video and see if we can adjust the CFG on the image to video and get better outputs. All right, so I'm just going to copy the CFG node in here. Let's drop that down there. All right, and then make sure we drop the embedded guidance scale down to 1. I'm going to up my steps to 20. And then let's go back to the flow match discrete scheduler. All right, so we have a CFG of 6 for our Hunyuan video CFG, and our embedded guidance scale is now 1. So let's take a look at how this looks. Oh, and a note here, for whatever reason, the Hunyuan video CFG node requires more VRAM. So you may have to turn up your block swap when you are using the CFG node. All right, so we ran into a similar issue with it kind of shifting out of the original image. That may have something to do with it, not recognizing this as a tiger. Let's try a different subject. It seems to prefer humans for sure. So, and especially younger humans. To me, it seemed to struggle with older humans. So let's try this woman, and we'll say a woman, let's say flips her hair while the camera orbits around her. The background is a park. All right, so we got too much movement there. For this one, I maybe would turn down the flow shift to see if I would get a better generation with less movement. But so this is SkyReels. To be honest, I think there's probably going to be some improvements coming out to make it more stable, unless these generations were just extremely cherry picked. So I'll make an update to this video in the future once the community has worked on getting the results a little bit more stable, and I will be a part of doing that experimentation. I hope all of you are too. All right, so that's it for today's video. I hope this helps you get started with SkyReels. I hope that some of us can help improve on the results that we've seen here today. If you have any suggestions for how to make the generations better, definitely drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear them. I bet other people in the community would love to hear them. Also, head to the Discord. It's a great place for us to workshop ideas about video models like this and brand new drops like this. And yeah, that's it for today, and I will talk to you again in the next video.